Hey guys, welcome back. Happy Monday. So today we're gonna talk. This isn't gonna be super serious, but it's also not gonna be like super light. I wanted to talk about because I had an experience over the weekend, and it made me think of like cyberbullying and trolls. And I just maybe it was this went into like a philosophical rabbit hole in my own mind, but I feel like um we are so in this internet age, everyone's just not afraid to let their dark side out. And people will say some off the wall crap online.
Yeah.
And it just, so here's what happened. So I posted now I rarely comment on stuff for this reason. I don't like to sit there. People want to debate you about stuff, and I'm not about it. But so I commented on a video, and it was a Jewish commentator that I watch sometimes because I like to get everyone's side of stuff. It makes me feel like I'm not just getting my views down a rabbit hole, or a tunnel vision. I like to watch different types of people. And he was talking about the Kanye West stuff that's going on right now. And I know it's a very hot topic, but I was curious because I was like, well, I wonder how an actual like Orthodox Jew feels about all this stuff.
Right.
And now
Right.
he has a law degree and his wife's a doctor. And so he was saying, and I actually thought it was pretty nice. He was just like, yeah, like I can condemn what he's saying, and what he's saying is evil, but also this is a guy who's been diagnosed bipolar, and he's very obviously in the midst of a manic episode. And typically with mania, the depression on the other side is about equal to what the mania was. So I worry about this guy, and I think he needs genuine help instead of being put on a screen so other people can make money off of him. And I was like, that's
Mm.
actually a very polite take.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking about after I watched this video, because I've watched a couple different people talk about it just out of curiosity, it's all the rage right now. Everyone's talking about it. And no one had mentioned his kids. And maybe it's the mom in me, but my first thought was I feel bad for his children because the two oldest kids are in school. And I don't
Mhm.
know, I mean, it's been a while since we were in school, the two of us, but
Yeah.
kids are cruel, man. They
Yeah.
will, and if they start
Yeah.
hearing stuff from their parents, they're gonna splurge it back at school. They're gonna, regurgitate whatever their parents are talking about at home. And
Yeah.
so to have to watch this stuff online and see this crazy stuff their dad's saying, and then you go to school and the kids at school are talking trash, and it's got to be tough on them. Like that's a really awkward middle spot to be in, and I feel for him. And I just posted a comment like, I really my heart goes out to his children because it's got to be really rough. Like I hope Kim has enough sense to get them some therapy in the future because they're probably going to need
Yeah.
it. Um, and bipolar disorder. Side note: bipolar disorder can be passed genetically, so if Kim has
Yeah.
any sense, she will look into that to make sure it didn't get passed out to any of their four kids.
Yeah.
But because it can be, there's no cure for it, but it can be dealt with. Um, and I was like, and it's a sad situation all around, but I hope someone looks out for the kids. And that was pretty much the basis of what I've said. And
Yeah.
some people online, I will read you a couple of the comments, not like, and I'll probably end up editing this to post them on here so you guys can see, and I'll just cross out people's names, obviously, so you can't see their name. But there was some
Right. And then
people,
then we become trolls and everything ourselves because people can
yeah.
start attacking them.
Um, there was people who agreed with me, and they were talking about how it can be genetic, and um, but this one guy wanted to get into a whole stink with me about, and it doesn't even show his comments right now. I wonder if like they got deleted.
Oh no. Well,
Um,
maybe the person took it out or the creator or whatever.
well, like this one girl came out swinging. She was like, "You want to know what his mental breakdown, like in quotes, is about?" Something I don't even want to say this word because I don't know if what it means, but get some knowledge. Start with this word. that's not the worst of its teachings. He's rightfully fearful for his children, as every human in their right mind should be, especially with their influence over Hollywood. It's shocking how quick people leave their opinions without any facts. Um, and I'm like,
I mean,
I'm just like, well, I just replied to her and I'm like, you need to relax. My comment was not about what he's saying or what you want to believe. I personally love my Jewish friends, so I don't give two shits, but it's like, I wasn't even talking about that. I'm like, I was just talking about the welfare of children. That is my only concern. I don't give two lickety shits about what Kanye and Kim are doing. I just hope that they have enough sense to look out for their children when it comes to their mental health, because this is going to be hard for them to watch.
absolutely. Um, Mental health is definitely so very real. You know, bipolar is so very real, all those things. There's also that big thing too, when you were saying this, of children in that whole Balenciaga. I don't even know what that whole thing is, but
They took
in regards to children, because isn't Kim Kardashian involved in that one? I just
they
briefly saw
both
something
are,
about that.
and that was another thing Kanye's on fire for, because he defended them, and Kim did a very kind of half-ass. I think because they make a lot of money off of them. But Balenciaga did a campaign ad where it was a bunch of kids holding teddy bears that were in bondage gear,
Okay.
like the ball gags and all. Like, yeah. So people were not thrilled.
Yeah. So, I mean, we all get them, right? Like, we're as digital creators, as content creators, like, it don't matter if you're up, you're down, you're doing something right, you're doing something wrong. If you feel like you look beautiful that day, somebody's still going to attack you. We're always going to have those trolls, those haters. Because that's how people are. That's how people are. But yeah, I feel like as a parent, we really do. We have to look out for our kids, and our kids are affected by our choices that we make, whether we want to believe it or not. Our kids are affected by that. You don't think her kids are going to see her sex tape she did with what's his name? They're going to hear about it, whether they're older or not, right? So I feel for them, like you said, because they're in school, they're going to be hearing about this, like, but it's hard in general when you have a parent who has a mental health diagnosis. Then on top of being in the social media and being in the limelight, whatever, like that, like, yeah. And our job too is to protect our kids, like, as parents. So I get where you're coming from. I do. I feel for them as well. I feel for them for so many reasons.
And the other guy, I can't find his comment, but it was something along the lines of like, he went on this whole spiel about the government and da 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 da. And I'm like, I just replied and was like, bro, you completely missed my
Went
point.
sideways. Like, you went sideways. Like,
I wasn't even talking about any of that. And he was like, oh, you think they're better off with Kim? And I was like, I was not discussing that, who I think is the better parent. But all I was saying is, like, I was like, you really took a comment about the welfare of children and took that opportunity as a way to go off on a tangent. And then he like was like, and you ignored what I said, so you're just another sheep. And I was like,
dang,
what?
I don't have to reply to you, sir.
I'm
Or
like,
ma'am, or whatever. Like, I don't have to reply to you. Um, I just feel in general, people are always gonna have something to say. It don't matter. How many times, I don't even know how many times somebody came at something we've said, but like, it's just one of those things where it's just, we need to be cognizant of children, that we are advocates for them. And I feel like that's kind of where you were trying to go, right?
yeah, like I was just like, my heart goes out to these kids, because I don't care. And this is across the spectrum here. I don't care if it's Donald Trump's kids. I don't care if it's Obama's kids. I don't care if it's Chrissy Teigen's kids. Like, children are not responsible for the actions and the words of their parents.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who spread a lot of hate to children sometimes because of their parents. And as someone who had that happen to them when I was a kid, I mean, my mom was an on again, off again drug user, and there was people in town who wouldn't let their kids hang out with me because of it.
Yeah,
And kids are
the
innocent,
choices of
and
your parent, right?
it's not their place. And when something like this is going on, especially so publicly, my heart goes out to them because I know there's no way they're not going to be affected by it.
Right, absolutely, absolutely, at some point. And I don't think it's considered a lot of times with a lot of different things, especially because everything is so social media, everything is so publicized. And yeah, I don't think you were wrong at all. I mean, I think you were right. And people are, I use my words lightly.
Trolls.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, and that's just it was kind of because I've seen stuff like I watched that documentary. I think it was like on Hulu about that young girl that this was in the beginning when internet was really starting to like become popular, and she was webcamming with some dude, and he convinced her to like give him a show, and secretly was recording the whole thing and then spread pictures to like all the kids at school and stuff. And she ended up, I believe, hanging herself. Trigger warning.
Yes, I was just
But
about to say that. Yeah.
so it's like you realize the real world effects. I mean, thankfully I have thick skin, and I was just laughing at this guy this entire time. That was really he kept replying. It was like trying so hard to argue with me, and I'm like, dude, I'm not going to argue with you. Like I'm there's nothing to argue about. All I was talking about is the welfare of children. If you want to go off on your government conspiracy theories, then do it on your own, my friend. Like,
Yeah, for real.
I'm not, no. Um,
Like I'm not getting caught up in that. Like that has nothing, it was kind of irrelevant.
yeah, like that's not where I was going with this at all.
Right.
But I just feel like the internet has brought us about an age where people are stuff that someone would never say to your face because they might get smacked. They can say it over a keyboard because
Exactly. Exactly.
ain't nothing
Yeah.
gonna happen. Which
Yeah.
is why,
And that's
law has kind of had to start to keep up with technology here, where they're starting to make laws about, for instance, like spreading people's pictures and stuff without their consent. Like, but law is always behind culture. So stuff starts to happen and then the law has to catch up. And cyberbullying's a real thing. Like,
yes. Yeah.
it's unfortunate that we've gotten to a place in society where we feel the utmost need to just comment on people's stuff just to say nasty things. Like, would your day have been any better or worse if you would have just, oh, I don't like what they have to say, and kept scrolling?
Absolutely. Because it's like, I know we are all entitled to our own opinion. We have the freedom of speech, right? We do. We have freedom of speech. But some of those things, like, just keep it to yourself. You don't like what I have to say. That's fine. This is my opinion. This is my perspective. Like, why do we have to have a great debate over it? Like, you don't agree with me, period. Cyberbullying, and how many instances have we had now where teenagers
Even young
have,
kids now, like a
and
10,
young
11.
kids, yes, and we have to teach our young children about this at such a young age. And the thing that I think gets me the most is that children are so innocent. um and that's the sad part, because they are so innocent and it's taken advantage of with everything that we have going on now. That's the part that gets me the most. That's the part that scares me. That's the part that worries me the most with this stuff.
Because a lot of the times kids are good at hiding it and you don't find out about it unless you're that parent that's snooping through their stuff every night while they're asleep, then you might be
Yeah.
completely unaware of what's going
Yeah.
on or what people are saying to them at school. Or you really ought
Yeah.
to be on top of your kids' stuff nowadays. And it's not because you want to invade their privacy, it's because you want to protect them.
Exactly. I know. Like even with my older ones, um, I think one of them, I think it might have been my oldest one, was texting or something, and she was talking about me being in her business, and I said, you know what? Your business is my business. Like, because I don't care like how old you are. I do think like if I know something more than you know something, I'm gonna make sure that I protect you from that um aspect. It might not have been my oldest one. I can't remember, but I was like, don't you know since you've been born, your business is my business? Like boundaries. Can we talk about that? Let's talk about that next. But I was like, your business is my business. Like, what? Because my kids will be all up in my business too. Um, and
Well, I know,
yeah,
and
but
you've gotten a lot of, I'm sure you get comments all the time being a part of a network marketing company. So people always have their opinions about that and like to talk all kinds of smack about your terrible POS products and stuff, like your pyramid scheme.
I I remember I'm fairly new to like Instagram per se. Like I'm probably newer. Listen, we were just talking about this the other day. Y'all remember when MySpace was a thing, right? I literally think I was probably the last person to get a MySpace, swear. Um everybody had MySpace forever before I finally decided like, yeah, let me make a MySpace. I wasn't even on it very long. Like I had no clue what I was doing. And then I guess like Instagram and Facebook had already been a thing, or at least Facebook, I guess, by the time I did a MySpace.
Facebook had already, it was funny because when that was all coming about, Facebook was like the old people one. Like
Yeah.
the older people were on Facebook because it was a lot like a simpler version where it was just kind of messaging and blah blah blah. Whereas MySpace, like I was the MySpace queen, y'all. Okay. Like I went in there and HTML'd my stuff to pimp my page and all that kind of jazz. Like I had the music playing and the sparkles and I had all kinds of weird shit on my
Yeah.
like, but in those, so the MySpace was more the younger one because you added pictures and different weird music and different stuff. And then in Facebook was more just like very plain and simple, pretty similar to the way it
Yeah.
is today, except you can do obviously a lot more.
Oh, yeah. 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 We can do a lot more these days than I think when I first started. Because I mean, back in the day, there was just the like button. There wasn't the likes and the hearts and the cares
Yeah.
and all that stuff, right? So I just started using Instagram like last year, kid you not. My daughter made me an Instagram account, like my oldest daughter, like years ago, but I just never used it. Never used it. But like you said, with network marketing, that's what we do, right? We're gonna network. We want to network. So I had to grow my social media and my followers and things, right? So just started using Instagram last year. And my very first reel, I got like a hater and I had a troll and I was like, wow, like this stuff is real, like, and it was over this dumbest like comment. Like I I don't even remember what it said, but it just got me. Like it really did. And I was just like, wow. So I removed commenting on my reel because but I realized, moving forward, if somebody has something to say, like you're going to have a troll, you're going to have a hater. And you know what they say, make your haters your motivators. But on top of that, if they hating on you, you're doing something right. For the most part, that's how way we got to flip it. And we got to flip it. I had a spoon in my hand. Like flip it and turn it around because somebody's always going to have something to say, but we just can't allow that to stop us. But that's getting into something totally different than what you started with about the children and advocating. But
Well, no, that's what I
um
want this episode to be about, though. I want it to be about like just I guess I was just kind of taken aback at how many people had the need to just comment on my thing and go off on their own little thing and insult me and everything else off of a very what I considered a very shallow innocent comment that was just about kids and people had to
and
go
how
off
it
on
can
their
affect you if you don't have thick skin. And how can it affect children? That's, you know what I'm saying? Like you're like, I have thick skin, so that I don't give a what you have to say.
pretty much.
But for other people, like at the time, I was kind of like, oh, I was hurt. but now I don't care. Like now I'm just like, you want to say something negative, go ahead and say it. I just delete it or keep it moving, period. But
Keep the comment
but you
on
were
there. It'll help up the algorithm.
oh really? I was like, sometimes when they be put like, okay, for example, I have one right now that is just blowing up. Like this reel is probably my biggest reel. And I never would have thought like, wow, that you know, but it was, you've probably saw it trending. Show yourself as a young mom and show yourself now, right?
Hmm.
That reel for me has gotten thousands. Like the last time I looked, because it's been a while, it was at 23,000 views, 2,000 likes. Like, and I did have some negative commentary. Like I've never, I've never gotten that many. So this was probably my most viewed reel on Instagram. Because on Facebook, I have another one that's like 70,000. But like on Instagram, I was like, this is big, right? For me. And the likes and stuff, because usually I'll have a lot of views but not a lot of likes, and it's got a lot of likes. So I went to the comment section, and a lot of people, were very sweet and kind and like, wow, like you look great, you haven't aged at all, mom, like all these good things. And then you have the other ones, the trolls, that were like, oh, mom at 15. And I had somebody even say 15 question mark, yeah, right. And I'm like, why would I lie about that? Like, why would I lie about how
You're
old
like,
I
I
was when
love
I had my kid?
looking bad on the internet.
Like, yeah, like I'm like, why would I make that up? That's just weird to me that I would make that up. Like it was just a weird thing, but it was great because it shows you too, like, I mean, a lot of times that um that not all people are horrible or have a negative aspect to it, and there was a couple of them that were like, I had my kid at that age, or I was, a teen mom too, or like all these things. And like, that's what I talked about earlier today, or no, with my kids this morning on the way to school in their devotional. It was that we all are going to have a story, and it's our story. Kanye, his bipolar diagnosis is his story. And it's part of him. But like, I told them there's going to be things that happen to you in your life that you might not always like. And you're going to think this sucks and this is hard and this hurts or whatever. Or like, why did I have to go through this? But it's going to be something that is going to help somebody else later. And Kanye, I'm not a big, huge fan of Kanye, especially with the post abuse that he's doing with like, with Kim. And that just kind of really hits close with me. His post abuse tactics and things that he's doing. But um that doesn't mean that somebody might not get something from this, that it might not make awareness or some changes happen from what's happening right now, maybe with protecting our kids more from social media or something like that. You never know. You just never know.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess the sad part of it is just that there's no right way with this, like especially the situation with him. It's like there's what he's saying is absolutely vile, and then at the same time, this is a guy who's going through a very public mental breakdown, and that's just sad to see in general too. Like it doesn't condone what he's saying, but at the same time, to watch someone losing it on TV, you're just like, I kind of feel bad for watching this at this point because this is kind of sad. Like, but you can't force people to get help, especially right now with, there's no, we don't do against will like institutions and stuff like that these days. So it's like you have to, it's like the Aaron Carter stuff. You have to hope that they eventually get themselves help, or
Right.
unfortunately they don't make it. And it's really sad. It's like, what's the right thing to do here? Do we take away their free will and get them help, or do we sit there and watch them
Right.
spiral?
Right. Right. And that's what I'm saying too. I think that, like, let's hope that something positive can come out of this. Like, something positive, something good, some changes to be making, some, instead of just paying attention to all the negative stuff and the negative aspect of certain things that people like to do. Like, why are we always so negative about stuff? Like,
Well, that was my big point. Like the amount of
yeah,
people that took
yeah,
something that I meant to comment that was positive, and they just had to start
flip
firing
it.
away with their BS. And
Yes,
I'm like,
yes. Flip it and turn it
why?
to something negative. Like, for what? Yeah, absolutely. Like, you weren't trying to say anything, and trying to be that negative Nancy. Um,
And
you're
it's
trying to
weird
advocate. Yeah.
that we're in a place now where it's like people have that need, like, oh, I disagree with them. I gotta keyboard
Yeah.
warrior it,
Yeah.
and talk my smack. Like, just because you disagree with something, I'm going to let you guys know, you don't have to comment on it. You don't have to
Right.
say anything. You can
Right.
just walk away. You can keep scrolling.
Right.
It's okay.
Right. 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 Well, we see
I
that a lot in our twin mom group, right? Like a mom will post something and then she'll be like, but why do we have to say, please? We have to ask people, please.
please no hate.
No, yes. Why do we do that? Why do we have to do that? How come it has come to that?
The
Please
mom
don't hate.
shamers.
No mom shaming. Yes, girl. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's like why have we gotten to that point? Why do we all feel the need to have our way be the right way and we gotta throw it on you?
Right. Exactly.
There is
Exactly.
no right way. I don't know if anyone's lived life long enough yet, but guess what? There is no right way. We're all
Right.
winging it until the day we
Right.
die.
Right. We don't have a
Like,
manual on this game called life. Like we just don't. Yeah, absolutely.
you're trying to make good decisions and hope for the best. Like
Absolutely.
it's just what
It's
it
like
is.
parenting. Yeah,
And
exactly.
there's no right or wrong way to do it. I mean, there's things that you should not do, like say
Right.
nasty stuff about people on TV or hurt people or that kind of thing. But I mean, those general rules of life. But when it comes to the
Right.
specifics, we're all kind of just
Right.
winging it. And people are going to disagree with you. Welcome to life. And there's no need. And it doesn't matter which side of the political aisle you're on, what color you are, what religion you are. We all have a bad habit these days of like thrusting our opinion on each other. And if you don't agree with me, then you're the bad guy. And I just feel
Right.
like that's a
Absolutely.
really, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't solve any problem. It's the great MLK quote. Hate doesn't drive out hate, only love can do that. You don't fix
Absolutely. I love
anything.
that.
You don't fix anything by just doing it in return the opposite direction or whatever, or
I
just
love that.
talking smack to the guy who's talking smack. Like that doesn't solve anything.
I love that.
Let the
Or,
let them dry themselves out. People see how
I
stupid
love
they
that.
are.
I love that. I love that. And there's so much of it now, there's so much of it. And like I just quoted this one from Maya Angelou. Is that how you say it? I always feel like I'm saying that wrong. But like that
Angelo or
the
Angelou. I don't know.
yeah, that famous one of people might not remember what you say, but they always remember how you made them feel. Um, yeah, like think about how you're making somebody feel by the comments that you're saying, those hateful, hurtful things, or trolling, or I see this a lot. There's this girl on TikTok. I love her, like this mom. I follow her, and like people are always coming at her for something. Like let her do her, let her live her life, like let her be happy. She's doing what makes her happy. Like she dances, and like people will just hate on her about her dances, or somebody even went as far as like making a comment about the fact that a lot of the stuff that she'll duo is like from black people, African American people that she's watched. So freaking what? Like so freaking what? Where's the rules or whatever that says like we can't duo or copy or try to recreate or do another content from somebody of a different color than us or ethnicity or culture or whatever. Like who freaking cares? Let her be her. She's happy. She's having fun. She is like, you know what? When you make yourself laugh, that's when you know that you are living your best life, when you can laugh at yourself. And that's what she's doing. And so it's like, why not just let her be her and do her? And like, why you mad? What you mad for? She's doing something that you ain't doing. That's what you mad for.
Well, that's usually what it is. I forgot where I read this, but it was like a lot of these. It's like with anything else, you have to remember that the people who are coming at you, there's usually something in here or in here that's not right with them. So they got to
Mhm.
bring people down to their level with them. I had a girl when I was
Absolutely.
growing up. She was what you would call the frenemy. Remember the frenemies when you were growing
Yeah.
up?
Yeah.
Where
I still got them. I still got them.
this girl would knock on my door every day to play. We were neighbors. She'd knock on my door every day to play, blah, 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 blah. But she never missed an opportunity to make my life hell. Like every time I had a friend over, somehow by the end of the day, she had convinced that friend to hate me. Um, she would make fun of how I was dressed. She would make fun of when I concentrate sometimes I like and she would stare at me and and she would just she would do the meanest shit. But then like the next day would
Wow.
be like, bringing clothes over to my house and be like, "Hey, try these on." But then there would be some other comment
Wow.
with, "Well, but because they didn't fit me, but they should fit you." You know,
Damn.
there was always
Like
some
a
backhanded comment.
backhanded, yeah. Sheffield
And
Twinkie.
God, we were young too. I'm talking we were like 10 or 11.
But what's she like now? Like, what is she like now? That's what I want to know.
Unfortunately, not doing that great. She got involved with the wrong crowd, last I heard.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But it was, she never missed an opportunity to make me not like myself, man. But seeing what road she's gone down since, it's obvious that there was a lot going on up here for her, and she was just trying to bring me down to her level. And I
Yeah.
understand that now as an adult, but as a kid, I was like, what the hell, man? Like, that shit was
Yeah.
hurtful, and it was like a
And it affects you.
never-ending cycle.
Yes. And it can affect you. And I see that in my kids because they're all ages, and I see it now. I mean, my oldest was bullied. She was bullied bad. She was bullied a lot. She ended up getting a concussion one time, and that stuff can do things, and people don't realize the damage that it does. But kids learn from adults. Kids mirror like what they're taught. Like, you see so many times, like, little babies will hug other kids of other colors and hair types and eye colors and whatever,
And
and
they
like
don't
not
care.
think twice. They will not think twice, but yet we, you know what I'm saying? But yet we, as adults, it and we could just love like a child. What the Bible say, like we could have a heart like a child, like a baby, and like love like they do. We wouldn't have the problems that we have. So love each other. That's what we're trying to say with this message right here.
Pretty much. When you go
Don't
to
be a
write
hater.
that, when you go to write that crappy comment, just check yourself for a second. Like, do
Yeah.
I really
Check
need to
yourself for
say
you wreck
this?
yourself.
Do I really?
Right.
Now, I think it's one thing if you're trying to defend someone that is being, like, say someone commented something and a bunch of people are ripping her in the comments and you want to just stick
Right.
up for her. You
Right.
can do that without spreading just as much hate as them. There's a way to stick up for someone and not also be a troll yourself.
Exactly.
I can semi condone that, like if you want to be the person that sticks up for the one being bullied, but
Yeah.
check yourself before you comment stuff or before you say stuff, because is it really necessary? And I mean, thankfully, I wasn't hurt by this. Obviously, this situation, I kind of laughed at it and was like, bro, you really just, that went way over your head. But
Went
it made
sideways.
me, it made me really think about these kids and people who aren't as strong-willed as we are, or people who might already have mental health issues or might be going through stuff, and the constant pressure of other people on you, and every little thing that you post or say, someone's going to comment about your buck tooth, or your double chin, or your how you talk this way or how you do that, and they're going to go scroll down your Twitter feed and find something you said 10 years ago and
Right.
say that you're a somethingist or a phobia of some kind. It's just there's so much negativity, and let's start bringing each other up instead of finding ways to continue to separate ourselves and bully each other
Absolutely.
and call each other names and somehow force people into submission. Like, that doesn't work. The more you
Right.
try to stick them in the bubble, the more they're going to go like off the
Right.
rails.
Right. Right.
So, and you see
Yep.
that a lot in today's climate. So just spread the love and spread the happiness and the compliments and you can sit there and see something you don't like and then just go talk smack with your best friend. You don't have to comment it. Like, you don't have to say
Right.
anything. You can hold that back. Have a little restraint.
Absolutely.
But this has been fun, guys. I like this episode. See, sometimes our episodes are pre-planned and sometimes something happens over the weekend and I'm like, Karen, we gotta talk about this.
Yes.
Look forward to the next episodes. We're gonna have that ex of Karen's on to talk about the dating with kids and co-parenting. Gonna be recording that one soon. And if you guys have any suggestions for episodes or things you want to hear us talk about or stuff you have going
Yes.
on, and you want our opinion on, or you want us to talk about it, something that you've gone through, let us know. All the comments, likes, and shares help the algorithm and help our channel. So thank you guys so much for everything, and we will see you
Yes.
next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.